on the bench. Eyes sharp, say less. You want shine, young blood.
Hey friends, Nisam here. Today I'm excited to dive into Kling 3.0, the newest generation of Kling AI video models. Unlike earlier versions that spat out single, chaotic clips, Kling 3.0 builds your video as a series of scenes. Each scene can be designed separately with its own duration and camera movement. The Kling 3.0 model introduces explicit structure and allows creators to plan and refine multi-scene videos from 3 to 15 seconds. We finally have the tools to control pacing, shot order, and even start-end frame constraints. Kling's base mode still supports text-only prompts. However, because you don't provide a starting frame, you need to treat your prompt like instructions to a film crew. The recommended workflow is to specify who's in the scene, what they're doing, where it takes place, and how the camera behaves. Multi-shot control lets you divide your clip into separate camera angles or actions. Okay, now let's try our first example. Prompt: dynamic FPV drone shot following a golden eagle flying over a majestic canyon, extreme close-up of wings and feathers, wide-angle lens, intricate detail of the landscape below, river, rocky cliffs, blue sky with clouds, hyper-realistic cinematic lighting, 8K resolution, nature documentary style. Why it works. We specify the subject, location, action, and even the camera lens position. For most projects, you'll want more control, and that's where image to video shines. Upload a still image to set the composition and style, then write a succinct prompt to define the motion. Kling 3.0's subject consistency improvements mean your character's faces and proportions remain stable across shots and angles. It also features a reference library. You can upload a picture of your subject to lock their identity throughout the clip. I uploaded a still photo of a man driving a vintage car. I activated multi-shot, and these are my prompts for each shot. Shot 1, wide tracking shot of a beige vintage sedan driving down a busy retro main street, sun flare 35mm film grain. Shot 2, extreme close-up reflection in the rearview mirror of an African-American man with an afro wearing sunglasses. Shot 3, side profile of the driver inside the car, cool expression, groovy atmosphere. Shot 4, low-angle front bumper shot focusing on a license plate that reads Higgs. The multi-shot structure gives you much stronger storytelling because each angle builds on the previous one while keeping the same character and environment. Kling 3.0 maintains facial consistency in the mirror close-up and the interior profile shot, so the driver feels like the same person across the sequence. The motion between shots looks natural, with smooth camera transitions, subtle reflections on the sunglasses, and realistic vehicle movement that adds a cinematic retro vibe without needing overly complex prompts. Using a close-up portrait focused on intense emotion, I wrote, extreme close-up of a young East Asian woman screaming in anguish, intense emotional expression, crying, tears, mouth open, sweat, short black hair, cinematic low-key lighting, dark background with warm bokeh lights, handheld camera movement, shallow depth of field, dramatic movie scene, 8K, photorealistic, high detail. Instead of exaggerated reactions, the emotion feels subtle and grounded. You'll notice small details. The breathing rhythm, tiny shifts in the eyes, even the way the shoulders rise and fall, all moving naturally with the camera. The result feels less like animation and more like a real cinematic moment captured on set. Let's test another example. Upload a photo of this vintage Sea military watch, and I wrote, macro extreme close-up of a vintage CWC military watch face, high detail texture of the black dial and aged numerals, metal hands moving, cinematic low-key lighting, moody atmosphere, shallow depth of field, 8K resolution, photorealistic. The model uses a reference matrix to maintain consistency throughout the motion and across angle changes. You'll notice the fine details remain stable from the macro perspective to the shifting viewpoints because the matrix preserves structure, texture, and realism across the entire sequence. Now let's test how Kling handles VFX and cinematic storytelling using a dramatic urban sequence. I'll build a cinematic action-style narrative that evolves from a calm character moment into large-scale destruction and fast-paced action, highlighting how the model connects multiple shots into one cohesive scene. Shot 1, medium profile shot of a woman lighting a cigarette on a rainy balcony, moody cinematic atmosphere, urban city background. Shot 2, sudden massive explosion erupts in the building across the street, fireballs and debris, shockwave. Shot 3, chaos on the street, Low-angle tracking shot of a motorcycle rider speeding through thick smoke and falling concrete, escaping the destruction, dynamic motion blur, high contrast, 8K, photorealistic movie scene. The appearances stay consistent from the quiet balcony moment to the explosion and the high-speed escape, with lighting, character presence, and environmental details blending smoothly so the sequence feels like one continuous cinematic event. Kling 3.0 isn't just an incremental update. It's a production-ready tool that turns your prompts into structured, multi-shot videos with consistent characters and synchronized sound. The platform lets you generate 3 to 15-second videos with explicit scene definitions, create up to 6 shots per clip with complete control over shot duration, camera movement, and order, lock subjects and voices across shots using Elements 3.0, ensuring universe strongest consistency. Produce audio and video simultaneously with multi-language support. Use start and end frame constraints to guide motion and preserve continuity. Iterate quickly thanks to scene-based editing and refined physics. Because Kling 3.0 encourages experimentation, there's never been a better time to try different prompts and scene structures. So fire up Kling 3.0, craft detailed prompts, and start building your own cinematic universes. If you'd like to see more creative experiments, maybe an underwater sci-fi adventure or a historical drama, let me know in the comments. I'd love to explore whatever you're curious about next.